Vote! I guess the question was, why didn't the Obama Holder administration do enough for black folks or something like that?
Criticism, understanding the history of the treatment of black people in this country. How do you address the critiques of a black man being president, another being AG, that did nothing to address that issue? I'll just set that right.
I almost want to ask who wrote this question, but that's okay. I won't go there. I won't go there. But I do have friends in the FBI, so I will find out who wrote it. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding. I mean, I think that, you know, with all due respect, that shows a glaring lack of knowledge about what the Obama administration did, when it came to health care, you know, which disproportionately had a negative impact. The lack of health care had a disproportionately negative impact on communities of color. The Affordable Care Act really gave people the opportunity to have insurance who didn't have it before. And I said disproportionately people of color. The historic suits that we filed against states to protect voting rights. And we weren't protecting the voting rights, let's be clear, we were protecting the voting rights of people of color, Hispanics.
You're being modest because you got to throw in the fact that what you did in Ferguson and what you were doing with black.
Oh, I was getting there. I was getting there.
You're my man.
Criminal justice reform, you know? I mean, John was the head of the Attorney General's Advisory Committee. That means he's the chief U.S. attorney in the country. The things that we did to try to reform the criminal justice system, to make it more fair, to make sure that these disproportionately long sentences, which went to disproportionately people of color, were brought back. We put in place a clemency program so that people who had been jailed were allowed to be released. A compassionate release program so that people who were unhealthy and who were in jail could be released. So criminal justice reform. The Obama administration filed record numbers of lawsuits against police departments to ensure that they were treating people in communities of color with respect. Record numbers, and I say record numbers, double the number of any other previous administration. Now I can go on with a whole list of things that, we don't have enough time, but the notion that somehow, some way, these two black guys didn't do enough for the communities from which they came is simply inconsistent with the facts. All right? And let me just end here. John said our democracy is at risk, and I agree with that, but I'd go a little further than that. I would say our democracy is under attack. If you see what this president is trying to do with regard to how he wants to use the Justice Department, all the other things that he has done that break down the norms that have governed the way in which presidents are supposed to conduct themselves, I think he thinks he's in an authoritarian country as opposed to the United States of America. And so Russia, he likes Putin, he likes all of these guys who are dictators, you know. He attacks the Canadians, he attacks the French, he attacks the British. Never says a negative thing about the Russians, you know, you ever notice that? When he's talking about people interfering with our elections, I thought, oh, he's finally doing that. And he said, it's the Chinese. But, really? I mean, all right. So our democracy is under attack, which means this election really is the most important election, certainly most important midterm election of our times. We have to put in place a check on this president. And that means making sure we take over the House and the Senate in Washington, D.C., so that he can't run things through Congress the way in which he has these ridiculous tax cuts that he put in place. The nomination of Kavanaugh, which if there was a Democratic Senate, could be stopped. But the check also has to be at the state level. State attorneys general, governors, secretaries of state, people in the legislature, all can be an effective check on this president. State power can be a check on federal power. And so we won't be able to put a Democrat into the White House until 2020, but it doesn't mean we have to curl up in the fetal position and just wait for 2020 to get here. There are things that we can do at the state and federal level now. So get out there and vote. Make Jenna the Secretary of State. Make Jared the governor of this great state. There are female candidates running for state senate. Make sure that you elect every one of them. Make sure that amendments Y and Z are passed. And then down ballot, whether it is for mayor. Bill Beiser, there we go. whatever it is, make sure that you're picking people who share your worldviews and who will be a check on those who want to take this country back to a place where we don't want to go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. There's one more thing we gotta make sure of. We gotta make sure of. When you all ask who Brother Jeff's voting for president in 2020, tell him my man, Eric Holden, came to Brother Jeff's vote is in the hotel room. That's my, I'm ready for it. We gotta do it, man.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.